r/AskReddit. What's the first date tip that could save you a lot of embarrassment? Ask open-ended questions instead of yes/no questions to keep convo going/avoid awkward silence. To add to this, a conversation should not simply be a one-sided info dump. Ask questions and follow-up questions in order to get to know your date. If the only thing you're talking about is yourself, then you're doing it wrong. But what do you do if you're asking all the question and your date is only talking about themselves? Stop asking questions. They're fucking up, and they probably don't realize it. After you ask a question and they answer, let the silence sit. Drink your coffee or eat your meal. They'll either keep talking about themselves, or realize what's been happening and ask you the same question back, or ask a new question. Good. This works. I've done this exact thing with a date. Ask them a question and then let the silence sit for a beat. When they stop talking, you can almost hear the oh shit ask something back penny drop. It'd be even better if you didn't have to do this, but some people are nervous talkers on first dates, and if you keep asking them questions, they will keep chattering away without taking a second to ask something back because they're too jittery. If I get that vibe, then I usually at least go for a second date to see if they relax a bit. Always use the restroom before you leave. I've done this. I left my jacket on my seat though, because I didn't want her to think I was skipping out, lol. That's the equivalent of leaving a deposit on your date. But I totally do the same thing. Looking back, it was kind of dumb. But I always left my wallet and phone on the table when I went to the bathroom. As with all of dating, I'd say never risk or wager something you aren't fine losing. Make sure your mom drops you off a few blocks from the venue. In that case, I feel bad for my very first date. He got escorted to the movies by his mum and little brother. They dropped me off too. We were only 13, which must have added to the embarrassment. This is why I always questioned it when kids in middle school/early high school said they were going out. You have no money and rely 100% on your parents for transportation. Where on earth are you going out to? XD. Make sure that you have enough money to pay for the entire date. I think that splitting the tab for food/drinks on the first date is pretty normal, but it always helps to be prepared, especially if you are the one who asked the other person out. Also, be punctual. Another person has agreed to spend a chunk of their free time with you, so that needs to be appreciated and respected. And don't get fucking lit up on shots. Reach a level beyond bust, or order any drink that has the word bomb anywhere in the name. Excellent advice. A hearty seconding to your comment about being punctual. If you can't be on time, be early. A first date is like a pilot of a TV show. It determines whether there is going to be a second date and so on. All you have to do on the first date is just have fun. Get to know each other. If you click, it's great. If you don't, so what? It's the first date. As a screenwriter, this is more difficult than it sounds. In the pilot, you have to give a general glimpse at the whole story, but without burning everything you had in one shot. But generating expectation and assuring there's something more you have to stick to see. All this while you're having fun and wanting to spend millions in whatever I'm saying to you. Give me job, please. Yeah, that still sounds like a first date. Stop focusing on yourself and how you sound, look, etc. and lay 100% focus on them. But if they're doing the same thing? Question mark? You do you. No, you do you. I insist. Please. Just do you. Brush your teeth. Then have a garlic basil on the way to the restaurant to hold you over. Or an onion. An onion a day keeps the ladies away. Onion and garlic contain sulfur, which are known to increase lust and anger in you. I would recommend to not go for a dinner date or a movie date for the first date. Both are better suited for later dates. Both of them have issues like who pays for the dinner/tickets, and there is no easy escape if the date is not going well. My go-to option is to just go for a coffee/tea in a nice cafe. Coffee and tea are not that expensive, so it really doesn't matter who pays, and they also provide a good atmosphere to just talk to your date. Pro tip, are interesting cafes like the cat cafes that exist in some cities. It is a regular cafe but with cats. If the date doesn't go well, you can still play with some cats. Me. Date. Me. Date. Me, who's a cute cat. You AskReddit, walks out. This is why I don't date cats anymore. For some that's the only pussy they can get. A cat is fine. Too. Don't bring your kids. But I like my goats. It's better to bring a full-grown male bison. It shows you have integrity. Bonus points if the bison can fly and has an arrow tattoo. Just remember that if you're on a first date, they said yes to being there with you. They want to be there, so just be yourself. Just be yourself. But don't forget to be the best version of yourself. Best reasonable. Tuck in your shirt. Don't change your whole personality. Movies are not it. Silent. No talking. You get to know nothing of the person you are on a date with. Thanks to a long series of misunderstandings, auto-corrected texts, and alcohol, I managed to find myself on a date with a friend of a friend that I really wasn't interested in. I suggested a movie for exactly this purpose. As a guy, no touching/kissing on a first date. If they are interested, women will try to touch your arm/hand. I never initiate touching, because if you touch them and they pull away, it's game over. The most I'll ever do on a first date is touch their back as I guide them through a door, and maybe a hug at the end of the night. Besides, I like to spend the first date getting to know them. When you're worried about kissing them or how much you can touch them, it's really distracting and turns into a mental tug of war. I like to alleviate that and just have fun and get to know them. Plus, it puts your date's mind at ease and they're not trying to play defense. I found it's just better for everyone if you don't even think about it. Edit. Gold. Thank you very much, kind sir/madam. Much appreciated. As a female, I really think this should be getting more notes. If we are into you, we will absolutely initiate touching. The best bet is going for a hug at the end of a date. If we want to kiss you, we'll hold on and look up at you afterwards. Plus, limiting physical touching during the date will drive us wild if we are into you. Suspense and all that. I have asked hug, handshake, or high five at the end of dates. Highly recommend. That is a great way to end the date. Little bit of humor. Something unique to make you memorable. And a way for them to exit without feeling pressured to kiss/hug if they don't want to. Also acts kinda like a mini survey on how the date went. This is kind of my thing, but I like putting together first dates where we do some kind of activity. Of course it depends on a lot of factors, but I especially like dates where we do something with our hands. Plopping down when you first meet someone and trying to have a natural 2-hour conversation with someone is pretty difficult in any context, and so keeping your hands busy takes a lot of the edge off. Could you give an example of something you might do on a first date? The comments below are good for a first date and really fun, but they are also very long, 2 to 3 hours. Commitments that may be better for someone you've talked to for a couple weeks and feel a little comfortable with already. Sometimes you want shorter options, where your date may feel comfortable leaving after 1 hour in case they aren't feeling it. Local park/beach, with other people around. Museum, wander around and talk, and there's art or exhibits to fill in the gaps, or be conversation starters. Local festival, book/music/art/food. You can start with coffee/brunch/drinks. 1 hour commitment, and then if things are going well you can do one of those. which are events where you can naturally leave at any point. Or you can start with that list and suggest food or a movie after to continue. When someone on the fence about going on a date sees they have the option, they'll feel better about going on a date they can leave with little hassle vs an art class they have to sit through 3 hours of. If you're a man who feels societal obligation to pay on the first date, actually listen to what your date is telling you. I much prefer paying for myself, especially that early on in a relationship. But I've occasionally been up against guys who feel the need to pay, even though I was clearly very uncomfortable with it, and I knew neither of them were particularly financially better off than me anyway. Past the point of me offering to be polite, it was quite clear I genuinely wanted to pay for myself, and that was what they wanted too. They just felt pressure to keep up appearances. We ended up agreeing that he would pay in the restaurant and I would transfer him the money. This has happened multiple times to me. It made it pretty clear that they were much more interested in appearing gentlemanly to the waitstaff than making me comfortable. Remember who you're trying to impress. As a lady, I really like when people ask before the date who will pay, regardless of what the gender pairing is. Also, discussing how you split it is important too. When I was in uni I had a super tight budget and thought they meant we paid for our own meals. So I just got fries and a drink. Turned out, they, with their full steak meal, thought we'd split the bill 50/50. I literally didn't have the money for that and had to ask my parents in another city to transfer me money to cover it. It was so upsetting, especially when they couldn't seem to understand what the problem was. People don't realize how important this is, but take a shower right before your date. Put on deodorant and edit. Disclaimer, only if your date doesn't have a sensitive nose, a small amount of cologne/perfume. You want to smell good if they get up close, but not be overpowering. If people don't know to shower before a date they have definitely already lost their way in life. Right lol. Reminder, don't shit your pants before a date. Zip up. Don't zip up the tip. We got a bleeder. Always check the bushes for a camera crew. After about 13 minutes, reach directly for their genitals. That'll tell you how things are going. Don't pay for any reason. You'll see how much they value you. Talk endlessly about your ex, so they know your psychological damage. Shit yourself for the pheromones. Go to Applebee's. Shit yourself. It's okay. This is a side effect of going to Applebee's. Talk about your mom/dad, so they know how to act to get you hooked. Feel free to go to the bathroom and cry and or snort cocaine. It'll relieve stress. Bonus tip. You can do this while you shit yourself from Applebee's. Keep in mind it'll probably fail at some point, and divorce rates are insane. So feel free to say stupid shit constantly. Ask them to see pictures of their mum or dad, because people grow up to look exactly the same. Eat garlic. I've got a bunch more, but I feel like that's enough and no one wants more. Why did this make me laugh so much? Don't talk to her about your wife and kids. If it's not hell yes then it's a no, mate. So, you're saying we should mate? I just threw up in my mouth a little. Say to yourself before first date you are meeting a longtime best friend, and be yourself. No acting. Trying to impress. You will be not awkward and you will have a lot of laugh and a good time. Worked with all of my GFs. My ex-wife. My new so. Worked with all of my GFs. My ex-wife. My new so. I'm seeing a pattern here. Don't get your pre-date advice from Reddit. Shave your armpit hair before applying deodorant. Have a full tank of gas/full charge. Clip your nails. Clip your nails. Seriously, clip your nails. It's the first thing I notice on a date and long nails on men are gross. plus any B-girl or lesbian will tell you nail length is a big deal on at least a few fingers. Honestly, going on a double date for our first date is probably what made me score my fiancé. I'm such an awkward person, but I was comfortable being around the other couple and ultimately made me open up to him. He didn't call me for 3 days, but I'm finding out that's because that's what his roommate told him to do. So standard. But 5 years later, and we are hopefully still getting married the 10th of March 2020. You've reached the end. You're a star. Destroy the subscribe button for more like that.